What's up, everyone? It's NFL Week 14, and this is your DraftKings NFL Week 14 first look, where we're going to take a look at the Week 14 salaries. We're going to look at the matchups. We're going to go position by position and put together a first look lineup that hopefully looks decent for early week stuff. You know, Week 14 is a big one. If you play redraft or any sort of season-long fantasy football, this is it. Time to get in the playoffs, time to make the playoffs, all the big stuff. It all happens now. So big week. Everybody needs to be really focused on what's going on in the fantasy world. There's a lot of bye weeks as well to navigate this week, but let's jump right into it. Let's get right in there. Reminder that the Thanksgiving first look lineup actually smashed. And, you know, that's because, of course, we're making that lineup like the day before the slate. This is a few days early, so not all the news has presented itself, but let's take a look real quick at these matchups and see what we can figure out here. Talk through some of these games. So we start with the Jets at the Dolphins. That's got a 44.5-point total. Jets are kind of in the quit zone, I guess, right now. Just playing it out. They're on the road in this one. 44.5-point total. Dolphins team total looks pretty good, but Jets aren't a defense that I'm like dying to target most of the time. So we'll have to see how I feel about either side of that game. That one does not stand out for me at all. A game that does stand out a little bit here, we've got the Raiders at the Bucks. Now, it's not that the Raiders are good. It's the Bucks are really good, and they're a fun offense to target. But more importantly, the Raiders' offense has been less terrible at times than you would think. So I think that the Raiders, with Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers especially, you know, could present some interesting, you know, challenges. Also, they're a very bad defense. Bucky, what's up, Irving, right? Go right back to it. So interesting pieces from that game. We want to keep it in mind. Saints at the Giants. You know, all right, so what to make of this? I'm not even sure who the Giants quarterback's going to be in this one. Will Tommy Cutlets come back? Is it going to be another week of Drew Lock? I don't know. If you know what, we'll have to let's give that one a pass. Like all the Giants pieces, I really need the week to think about it. But what I can be pretty confident about is, you know, Alvin Kamara is going to be super chalk on this slate, especially because Taysom Hill was really the poison to Alvin Kamara's goodness, right? Alvin Kamara gives up the touchdowns to Taysom Hill all the time. When Taysom's out, Alvin can smash. So all of the smash games from Kamara, people don't realize this. They've come in games where Taysom Hill really didn't play or was out for that week. Earlier this season, Taysom was also out, and those were those great games that Kamara produced. So Taysom Hill is out. We get beast mode Kamara for this one. Let's pay attention to him. Let's see. Browns at the Steelers. Steelers at home, 25-point team total installed. Browns, a mediocre 18.5. Listen, I love Jamo. Jameis Winston is my guy. He's been my guy the whole season. Love that dude. What's not to like? Now, this is a tough matchup. So it's going to be tournament only, right? I'm still going to play him. But we're going to have to go GPP on. I just love it. He slings it every time. 35 passing attempts. Lock it in. So I still think you could play Jameis Winston, but of course Steelers defense would be an even better play because Jameis Winston, still Jameis pick Sixton. It's what we love about him. You know, he's going to sling it. He's going to sling it to his own guys. He slings it to the other guys. He don't care. Don't matter to him. Jaguars at the Titans. This one's an interesting game. First of all, Titans defense, of course. Jaguars probably going to be without Trevor Lawrence after what was one of the dirtiest hits I've ever seen in an NFL football game, by the way. That dude, whose name I can't recall, that hit on T-Law, the guy should be suspended for a full season. It was clearly purposeful. He sticks out the elbow. He knocks it in Trevor Lawrence's neck. That is purposeful. That's trying to hurt somebody. The 3 games is not enough. It's not enough. He should be done for the season. Disgusting. With that being said, so now you get this close game. I don't know how to make of it. Like maybe Jaguars defense has been absolutely terrible. So maybe will Levis and crew become interesting? I guess Pollard, if he's healthy, you know, Ridley, Westbrook, Akine, go back to that craziness. So I guess that's the side we'll have to pay attention to. Panthers at the Eagles. Oh my goodness gracious. Aside from Eagles defense here, you know, Barkley in the smash spot of the year. That's all you need to know about this one. Can we afford Barkley? Maybe. Falcons at the Vikings, 45.5-point total there. Falcons pretty hefty underdogs, 25.5-point team total installed for the Vikings. That's not a bad team total. So, we'll keep those Vikings pieces in mind for this game. Vikings play some good defense, rush defense. So maybe less excited about Bijan this week. We played a lot of Bijan last week. He was sort of a top play. We'll have to see what the props think later in the week as we get to the prop-based projection model. But we'll see. Seahawks at the Cardinals, 23.5-point team total for the Cardinals at home, 44.5-point total on this game. That's kind of gross. Nothing really stands out to me. I'm sure the offensive pieces from either team are probably fine, but nothing stands out about that. Bears at San Francisco. I love me some Caleb most weeks. Road underdog quarterback, not the best, but not the worst kind of spot. Interested. San Francisco defense, not as great as it's been in the past. San Francisco loses McCaffrey and loses Jordan Mason all in the span of 15 minutes. And we get Guerrero as a bit of a pay down option on DraftKings. FanDuel, not as good. But DraftKings, yes, please, right? So we got a bargain on. Actually, FanDuel's better. Wait. FanDuel's even better on Guerrero. Now that I remember, it was Mason. They priced up Mason. They got screwed. They priced Mason up to 8K. They got screwed. We're talking DraftKings here, not FanDuel. But yes, we get a bargain basement running back in this game, and I think we're going to play him. We're playing him. He's our guy. And then the pieces, I think that both teams, this is a game of interest at 44. That's the one 44-pointer that maybe stands out. But take a note of what you're seeing here on the screen. 46.5, 39.5. All the games are in this range except for one, and that is this Bills at the Rams game with the 49-point total. Now, 49 is not, oh my goodness, 55-pointer like we've seen in the past, but at least it's slightly better than these other games. I really like this situation for the Bills offense on the road as favorites in LA. So I like that one quite a bit. All right, let's jump over to DraftKings and now go position by position and kind of put the matchup discussion together with some of these salaries and see what we can come up with, see what looks good. And of course, Josh Allen at the top of the list. Josh Allen's such a beast. I mean, if we could afford him, he's definitely the guy that I think we should be trying to plug into lineups. This is more, paying 8K for quarterbacks is not necessarily how you're going to win big tournaments. We've got to find the 6K or the 5K guy that puts up a 30 rather than the 8K guy. But Josh Allen is a safe bet this week to produce. Again, he's facing an opponent that should be able to score as well. And those are the games that produce the best. You know what? I have the wrong contest open here. I have the Thursday through Monday as I was looking at some details there. So let's crack open the correct one. And Joey Burrow will not be in this one, unfortunately. So there we go. Jalen Hurts, fine. Non-competitive matchup. Sometimes these can kind of span the range of things. It doesn't really stand out. Stands out as a Saquon Barkley spot, but you never know. That's kind of how those go. Baker Mayfield at home against the Raiders could be very interesting. Baker got banged up a little bit, but I highly doubt that this guy is not going to play. And so I've been enjoying, Baker's resurgence, although I will warn that the emergence of Bucky Irving is putting a damper on some of the upside. So earlier this season, what was going on with Tampa was they were primarily using Rachaad White. And the problem with Rachaad White is he might not be that good. Like, he's just not that good up the middle. He's never been he's a great pass catcher, or he has been, but I just think he's not that good. Not a prolific scorer. Bucky Irving is a get it in the end zone kind of running back. He has a little bit of something. He's got that X factor, and it's really actually costing Baker Mayfield's upside a little bit. We see it here last week on a big game, big win. Mayfield only put up 12. It was kind of a high scoring back and forth affair, and he only gets a 12, and that's a concern. Right? So Tua at the Jets, not exciting. Purdy, again, at home against Chicago, maybe. Is it an exciting play? No. But will the 49ers be competitive at home against Chicago? I think yes. And being that they don't have any running backs left, or they're down to the third string guy, he will be fine, but it's less likely that running back will dominate the fantasy production. So I think Purdy is actually a viable play this week, just based on some of kind of how the 49ers are going to have to attack this game, which is probably a little more through the air than they're used to. Not to mention, Chicago got a pretty good run defense. So, all right. He says that now, as later on, I'll be touting the shit out of the San Francisco running back. But, we'll save that for the running back section. Sam Darnold at home against Atlanta. Yeah, I'm going to say yes to this one. Darnold's been, at 6K, 19, 24, 24, turd, 22. You know what? 1, 2, 3 out of the last 4 games. Not that this is winning you tournaments, but this is more than making value against his salary. So, and even when you add these other two in, these 19s and 18s and 19s and 20s, again, it's not a tournament winner, but it's kind of good enough to put you in position in multipliers, in double ups and triple ups, in small tournaments, the type of stuff that I like to play in primarily. So I think Sam Darnold is a very viable quarterback this week. A big part of why he's viable is just they don't have a strong running game in Minnesota, or most weeks they don't. Every now and again, Aaron Jones just comes out and gets like 30 touches, but when half the time he just does it. So Darnold definitely in the mix. It's a good matchup. Atlanta can score a little bit as well. They can make it close. So yeah, I like this spot, and Darnold is definitely someone to keep in mind here. Kyler Murray is just, I don't know what to make of him. He'll pop off every once in a while, inconsistent. The rushing yards are all over the place. 7 attempts, 48 yards last week. Only 2 for 9 the week before, 2 for 6. 3 for 21. It's all over the place with this kid. So I don't love it. Maybe stay in the tournament mix for me, but not my favorite spot. Russell Wilson, yeah, against Cleveland. Again, unexciting player. Going to disappoint more often than not, but at this price, it's acceptable for Russ. Russ looks a little better this year than he did last year. Geno, probably not going to be super interested in him. The disappointments with Geno are much greater than the good games. But again, not the worst of matchups. Stafford in this Buffalo game, kind of okay, right? It's not bad. Stafford has 2 fantasy relevant performances so far this entire season. Of course, Puka and Cooper haven't been healthy for most of the season, so can we really count it against him? But I say yes. It is, he's fine, but unexciting, unsexy. Continuing on, Caleb Williams at San Francisco is really interesting. He's coming on strong the last few weeks. He looks good out there. He's slinging it. That's all I can really ask for. This is what I want to see with my quarterback. I want to see all of these attempts, 39, 47. Those are the numbers we want. When it starts to go down too low, it gets bad, or sometimes it just stinks. So actually, I kind of don't mind Caleb. I really enjoy stacking him. He's a very clean and clear stack with 2 kind of guy. You just put him in there, Keenan, and either Odunze, Komet, or DJ Moore, and move on. So yeah, I like Caleb here. I don't mind using him in our first look. I think he's a pretty solid starting quarterback. I do want to mention a couple of others, or at least one other. Winston. Can't ignore Jammo, even in a bad matchup. This dude is a beast. Look at all these 58 attempts. Given this Denver game was crazy, but he threw it 58 times in that one. Pick sixes galore. He's just making it happen. I love a pick six. You know why? Because he gets the ball right back. Who cares? More Jammo scoring. That's great. Last time they faced the Steelers, it didn't go that well, but they won. But it didn't go that well for Winston. So they just played these guys at home a couple of weeks ago. And Jamo, didn't throw it as much, only scored 15. So we kind of saw this matchup play out. And I think that's what the field will think will happen again, which is what makes me kind of interested in the game. Steelers have been able to score a little bit. Yes, they play great defense. Yes, they're probably getting a pick 6 or 2 in this one, but who cares? Who cares? It's Jamo. Love Jamo. Okay. Some other still, right? Rodgers, meh. Bryce Young, no. Derek Carr, hell no. Will Levis, man, if he has a good game, it would be his first good game. I have to admit he's been less horrible, in the last few weeks than he generally is. But, that doesn't mean he's good. I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to pull the trigger, but the matchup is great. Jacksonville can't stop anything. So there's that. Another name that doesn't have to be completely off of our list is Aiden O'Connell. I know it's gross. I know he stinks, but you know what? So what? It's Tampa. Very, very mediocre defense for Tampa. O'Connell's really easy to stack with Myers and Bowers. So if we're doing it, we might as well do it. He'll be on my mix. He will be on my sheet this week. I know it's gross, but yes, I wish I just like you guys. I'm just like you. I also wish he would shave the mustache or at least turn it into a goatee. But, they're not taking my advice on that one. So Aiden O'Connell, acceptable play, stacked with Bowers and or Jacoby Myers. It's fine. Any other quarterbacks of interest? Mac Jones. Could we take a chance with Mac? Probably not. That's not a great matchup at Tennessee. So you know what? We're going to avoid it. And then I don't know. I guess if Drew Lock is, I guess it depends who the quarterback for the Giants is. We can kind of keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think it's, breaking down the list. I think Josh Allen, maybe Purdy, Darnold. GPP with Caleb, little Winston, GPP only, and maybe some of these maybe a little AOC. So there we go. And nobody else really stands out to me as of right now, as of this moment. Jalen Hurts, if you want to get crazy, just in an easy matchup. But again, he would have to want to go out there in style for that to work out. Okay, let's move over to the running back position. And again, I'd ask if you're enjoying these videos, if you watch these breakdowns every week, smash the like button, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you can. Let us know that you're out there. Hit that subscribe button here on the DFS Army YouTube channel. We appreciate your being here. And we appreciate you being here with us every week, enjoying these breakdowns and having fun doing the hobby that we all love, which is playing DFS, trying to win the big bucks. All right. Moving on to the running back position. And of course, it starts and ends with Saquon, the man in the best possible matchup, the best running back of the year, the guy who got your team into the fantasy playoffs. You're already in if he's on your team. You made it. You're in a bye week. You're feeling great and your season long. Well, can we afford a 9K running back? I don't know. But if we can, this is the guy that we want. A little Saquon in there. Now, Achan, this is, it's fine this week. I don't mind it. Okay. But Alvin Kamara is our next exciting play. And I don't think we certainly can't afford a 9K and an 8K running back. But if we could, these two would probably be our guys. Now, I'm not a Kamara guy. You're like, Kev, you literally never use Kamara in these breakdowns. And that's true. I've never been a big Kamara guy. Let's see what he did last week. I'm sure he had a fine week. Yeah. But didn't make value. So he was fine. No touchdowns, as usual. His problem is he doesn't score touchdowns. What are the games where he put up? Well, Taysom Hill was out that week. Oh, okay. There it was. 4 of his 7 touchdowns all came in one game. All right. Well, that's interesting. Right. Has another big touchdown game. Yeah, there it is. 4 of his 7 came in this one game. And this is the deception of Alvin, and there's the rest of them. This is the deception of Alvin Kamara. He's deceptive. But this is the time when he smashes, when there's no Taysom Hill, and he's got a cherry matchup. Couldn't ask for more. CM Sizzles, the most predictable IR ever. I have Jordan Mason on all of my redraft teams, just ready for this. And they go on IR the same week. This was the biggest kick in the balls that you could have possibly thrown at me for my season longs. Did not have his backup. Bijan Robinson, now coming off the big game, not as what a game, right? Great game. Loved him. Last week, Bijan was one of those plays that absolutely popped in our DFS Army prop model. Not just the regular projections, but in the prop-based projection system. And I wound up with a ton of exposure to him last week. It was really helpful. Him, Bucky, and Chase Brown were my prime trio last week. And I cannot complain about the running backs. They crushed it, even if some of the other spots did not. Bijan, great, but not a great matchup this week. So probably, proceed with caution there. Cook, coming off another big game, great stuff. But I don't think that this salary and his usual volume is going to work for me. So I'm going to avoid him this week. Kyren Williams also, I get that Buffalo, 7,300. It's fine. Doesn't really pop. Again, it's hard to not want to just find your way up to Kamara or Barkley. So Kyren here at 7,300. He kind of did come on a little bit last week. Still got a problem. All right, I want to show you what the issue is with Kyren. It's here in the game logs. And it's absolutely very clear that the return of Puka and Cooper Kupp has effectively, for whatever reason, removed Kyren from the passing game. And I'll show you what I mean. Take a look here. So he got one target last week, 0 and 0 the two prior weeks. There's the 6 target game, 3, 7, 0, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. So in games without, Puka and Cooper Kupp, he was 6, 3, 7. Now, also had some duds, but certainly was spiking on occasion. Now, since the return of both of those guys, we have 3 weeks in a row of almost no targets. And I just think that's what it's going to be with Kyren going forward. He's a little less volume. There was also this week, I think, some Blake Corum action. So let's take a look at what he did. And this is concerning. Corum getting 8 carries as well. Kyren was really this guy who would get 90% of the work. And now we're seeing Kyren getting, what did he have? 15 and the other guy got 8. So now we're at 65, 35 or something like that. That is not the Kyren that we know and love. So I don't like it. I'm out. Brees Hall, no. I'm just not interested. The Jets are just nothing that I want to spend money on. Kenny Walker could be played at home against, or on the road here against Arizona. He still gets his volume. The big games come and go. Connor, other side of that game, seems fine. Here's my guy, Bucky. This is a great situation, a great matchup. It looks like he got banged up. Seems fine. 25 carries, 3 targets. Look at this volume. 25 carries, 3 targets. Again, the best matchup ever. But look at Rachaad White. So 25 and 3. This guy got 11 and 1. So clear 60-40 split in favor of Bucky, or 70-30 even in favor of Bucky. That's all you need to know. There is a clear-cut lead back in Tampa, and his name is Bucky. I'm trying to think of jokes with the name Bucky. I'll have that prepared for tournament tactics. Can't do it in real time here. But there's, I'll have something. Tony Pollard. Wait, first of all, Aaron Jones never excites me. Look at this guy. This is a whole career of this. 1 week, 22 carries, 3 targets. Next week, 5 carries, 3 targets. Why? I don't know. Who the hell was getting carries? No one. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. So unpredictable volume. Even in a great matchup here against Atlanta at home, you would think this is a great spot. Fine, he'll be in my mix, I guess, whatever. But I just want to be protesting the fact that this guy's volume is all over the place, seemingly for no reason. But one guy I really do like, very much so, is Tony Pollard. So why do we like him? Well, the Titans are up against Jacksonville. Jacksonville without their quarterback because of that horrible hit that was put on Trevor Lawrence. And so you get the backup QB who's not that terrible, but probably leads to, I mean, this is one of the first times all year where Tennessee is favored. This is maybe the only game where they've been favored all year. And I like a favored volume running back. It's that simple. So Tony Pollard should be a big part of our plans this week. Again, I don't know. When was the last time they were favored? Maybe this New England game. He got you 21. So when the Titans are going well, Pollard is going well. I like him at 6,400. Chuba Hubbard is a no. I'm taking a pass. Look at this. It's it. It's over. The volume is over. They're working in Jonathan Brooks now. Even if that was a good matchup, I wouldn't be playing Chuba at that price. Why? 3 targets, 6 carries for Brooks. Chuba, we knew this was coming. Chuba, 12 carries, no targets. I mean, he split almost even work with Jonathan Brooks. It's over for Chuba. Chalk Chuba, done. Bobby Wow, happy about it. Bobby Wow's like, never liked Chalky Chuba anyway.
Wow.
He's out. Continuing. Oh, I'm getting to our next piece. Don't worry about it. But I like Pollard. Like Bucky. So we get to the sub 6K zone for our cheap running back tier. And yeah, Tyrone Tracy, maybe. Maybe a little Tyrone. A little Travis Etienne, probably not. But the guy that we're going to be playing is Garendo, Isaac Garendo. That's right. When you can get the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers for cheap, you simply do it. They don't have any other names. There's no one else to play on the team. This is our guy playing, right? It levels out the expense between Barkley paying all the way up to 9K because we get this $5,400 guy. But again, I'm going to just continue through and then we'll do a review. So Garendo, Swift, can we play Swift? Probably not at this point. Too splitty with Roshan. It's not good. Rashad White, can we play him? Probably not. Also at this point, love to see more target work for him. It's just not there. He actually got 70. He played well against Carolina too, but that's Carolina. I think in a tougher matchup, I just don't think we can count on him for big scores. Madison, you know what? Weirdly enough, Madison might be playable this week. It's too early. The Q tag, we'll save him for later, but he might be a cheap running back worth keeping an eye on. And that's it. All right. Now, as always, say he's going to go in order. Next up is the wide receiver. No, it's not. We go from running back and quarterback directly to defense. And let's figure out what the cheapest viable defense is that we can put in this lineup so we can figure out how much we have to spend on the other spots. So I like to start at the bottom here. Carolina? No. Raiders at Tampa? No. Bears at San Francisco? No. Browns at Pittsburgh? Maybe. Now, I don't love it, but if we have to play a cheap team, maybe. Falcons at Minnesota? No. Rams at home? No. Giants? No. Jacksonville at the Titans? Interesting. So already, I don't love it, but Titans are a turnover machine. They give a lot of points up to opposing defenses. Yes, the Jaguars defense is not good. It does not matter. They are a team that we can plug in. Doesn't matter. Seahawks at Arizona? No. Jets at Miami? No. Titans at Jacksonville? Jacksonville at Titans? Yes. Right? And this might be a better play. Again, how bad is Mac Jones? I don't know. Sometimes he plays all right. But the Titans defense has been pretty good at home this year. So I think they're an opportunistic team. I think we could plug them in instead of the Jaguars if we like. You know what? Saints at the Giants. 2,800. I mean, that is a smash spot. So We've got Saints. That's almost too good of a spot to pass up, depending on who the Giants roll out, but more so if they roll out Tommy Cutlets. If this is Drew Lock, I actually like it less. So we'll figure it out later in the week. But for now, I'm going to leave the Saints in there. They're one of my favorites, but I will talk through a couple other defenses here. Yeah, I mean, Arizona at home, sure, why not? 49ers, yeah, playable against San Francisco. Miami at home against the Jets, very playable as well, although I don't love it. Buffalo, maybe. Vikings, yes, they'll be in my tournament mix. Vikings are a high-scoring defense. Look at all these double-digit scores, 11, 13, 11, 11, 16. I mean, they've been a great defense for fantasy. The best, I think. Are they the best? Yeah, I think they've been the best this year. Steelers, hell yeah, 3,500. Hell yeah. Bucks, sure, why not, right? But, I probably like the Steelers more or the Vikings more. And then Eagles, yes. So this is a week, unlike last week where I didn't care about the defenses seem kind of mid. This is a week where even some of these pay-up defense options look really, really good. So quite a bit to choose from. I'm going to keep it paid down at the Saints for now, and we'll allow ourselves to make an adjustment if we need to. All right, tight end spot. Let's go through it. Now, Brock Bowers, man, the Brock Lobster. You want him, I mean, it's getting ridiculous, right? 16 targets 2 weeks ago, 14 targets last week, massive scores. This guy is everything and more. What's not to like? Now, 6,500, the price point, that's not to like. But I love Brock Bowers, and if I can afford him, I'm plugging him in. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to afford him, or we're probably not, but I loves me some Bowers. Trey McBride, also target machine the last couple of weeks, 12 and 15. That's what you want to see. Very playable, good matchup. Everything about it solid. George Kittle, also playable here, even if his logs don't look that great. Very much in play. Jonnu Smith. Oh, check out Jonnu. 31, 23, 24. This guy's just getting it done week after week after week. I don't know where it's coming from. Certainly could happen again this week against the Jets. The price reflects the new reality of sort of his situation. No bargains there. David Njoku, what a monster week. He's just, it's funny. He dropped 3 or 4 passes during this game too. I don't actually think he's that great of a player, but he's got great athleticism. And if you're going to throw it to him 17 times, it's going to work out. Dalton Kincaid, will he come back this week? I don't know. Evan Ingram, fine. Dallas Goedert, for as long as Devontae Smith remains out, I think Dallas Goedert is playable, but this is the Saquon game, so it's nothing I want to sort of target too heavily. 7 targets last week for Cade Otton. You see what happens when the touchdown doesn't go in. It's not that great. I do have a lean here, and my lean is going to be Hawkinson. I think we can go right back to Hawkinson again this week. Sure, he didn't have the best of weeks last week, but he is who he is. And I need to pay down at tight end. So I'll give some other possibilities, but I need to pay down at tight end, and he kind of pops a little bit at 4,300. If we got to go lower, which we might. Muth had his best week ever last week. Like, where did that come from? Cole Kmet, if in a pairing with Caleb, I think Cole Kmet is fine. Juwan Johnson, maybe not a great matchup, but Saints don't have anybody else. So at some point they got to start throwing it to Juwan. Yeah, 7 targets last week. That's fine. Even Foster Moreau. Although I don't like to dive this deep at tight end. So I'm going to leave Hawkinson in there for now, but keeping in mind Bowers, McBride, Jonnu. Yeah, there are definitely some other viable tight ends. If I had to go dumpster diving, maybe Tyler Conklin. I don't know. I haven't been loving him since they added Devontae. All right, there we go. 5,700 average salary remaining. Let's see what we can come up with at the wide receiver position. Let's go through it. There's going to be good plays all over the place, as always, at wide receiver. So it's just really about, who can we afford? How can we make it work? And who's kind of correlated with this lineup? So starting at the very top, of course, A.J. Brown. Always a good play, always playable, always overpriced. A little overpriced player. He's averaging 17.7 fantasy points per game. Salary at 8K, 816. So he's about just over 2x salary. I would like to see the salary. I like to see them about 2.5x salary, not 2. So for an 18 pointer, 612, 18, maybe 7K instead of 8,100. Should be more like a 7K player. Puka has looked great last few weeks. We had a heavy exposure to him last week. 23, 28, 17. He needs 32 to make value against this salary range, so be careful there. Mike Evans, I think he got, a monster game, got the touchdown, got crossed 100 yards last week. Let's target this Panthers matchup. Let's just keep targeting it. Problem is, you never know when they're going to be needed. And with Evans, Panthers actually made a game of it against Tampa. I don't think that they're going to make a game of it against Philly, which is why I'm just not that high on maybe an A.J. Brown here, or I'm less confident that I would like to be. Yeah, Mike Evans, fine. Like it. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek. Reek. What can I say? It's not been like 2023. Now he's got a rough matchup with the Jets. Can he get it done? Sure. Will he? I don't know. Cooper Kupp, kind of same as Puka. Malik. I mean, if it's Drew Lock, I think we can go back to Malik. I'm not sure if Cutlets can produce enough. Drew Lock, I want to give him a pass on last week because I really felt like he didn't prepare. And he just looked like he was unprepared out there. Like it's almost like a week of practice would help him. So we'll see. Devontae and Wilson, only mild interest. Probably more in Devontae. 12 targets, man. Only 5 receptions. Jets. Disgusting. Drake London has a good matchup here against Minnesota. Weirdly, the Vikings have been a good defense to target with wide receivers because it's been tough to run on them. So I think Drake London is someone we can put in the mix. I also like that his salary has kind of floated its way back down to reasonable. Note that he went up over 7K and it just, it was a little too much for him. Now he's back down to 65 hundo, kind of where he belongs. JSN, sure. I think we can go right back to him as well. DJ Moore, though. So we've got Caleb Williams at the head of this one. And with Caleb, we really got to pair him up with some of his pass catchers. So DJ Moore is definitely one of the ones that I'd be interested in. 16 targets. I mean, what can you say? You got to put in DJ with Caleb, right? Got to get him in there. 5,500 remaining. All right, let's continue on through. Reduced price for DK Metcalf and JSN. I'm fine with both those guys. Debo. What happened? I don't know. Horrible year. Averaging 10 fantasy points. What a disaster. Brian Thomas Jr. Can he get it done with Mac Jones? Maybe. Yeah, Judy. Oh, what a game Judy had. Thank goodness. 43 points. What? You serious right now? Finally. I'm loving me some Judy. I think Judy can be played in this matchup. The problem is he's going to see Joey Porter. And so we're going to, last week we didn't allow Surtain to scare us off because we didn't think he was going to be locked on to Judy. After last week's explosion, yes, now Joey Porter will be locked on to Judy because they're going to see it and be like, oh, yeah, we need to stop that guy. So they're going to watch the tape. They're going to be watching tape of Judy lighting up the Broncos, and they're going to be like, we can't let him do that to us. And so I think Judy will probably get extra attention this week. Yeah, I like Jacoby Myers, the law firm, in this matchup at Tampa. Tampa has been really horrible in terms of just playing defense against wide receivers. You could pass on them. So we are plugging in some Jacoby into this lineup. Another guy I love is Keenan Allen. This guy gets plenty of volume, 24 fantasy points each of the last 2 weeks. If we're going to play Caleb, we might as well include these guys. So we're going to build a Caleb Moore Allen stack with Jacoby Myers, the law firm in there, fucking keeping it all legal, keeping it all above board, as they say in the legal industry. Objection. Sustained. Overruled. So where was I? I lost my complete train of thought there. Oh, yeah. Keenan Allen in there. So we built a Caleb Myers, Allen, DJ Moore lineup so far. We've got 5,500 left for the flex. Like, what are we going to do with our flex? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. You tell me, right? I don't know. So let's continue on with the wide receiver group. We'll try to get this figured out and see if we're going to adjust or, see if we'll have to adjust. I'm seeing some adjustments we can make already, but we'll get into it. So Darnell Mooney, 5,500. Okay. By the way, that's fine. Mooney has not really done a whole lot the last few weeks, but he certainly had a stretch this year where he was smashing. And so, that can continue. Adam Thielen, tough matchup for him. I loved Thielen last week, man. And did he come through? That was awesome. But I think we have a much tougher situation against the Eagles. I'm not trying to play the Panthers here. Addison, also a guy who's had a couple good weeks. 33-pointer a couple weeks ago, 6 targets last week, didn't do a whole lot with it. Addison is much more of a play with Darnold guy for me than like somebody I'm taking standalone. Juwan Jennings playable. I don't know. Chicago's got a really good secondary, so probably not like, I think, trying to target those guys, but Juwan Jennings has been great. Amari Cooper is going to break out one of these weeks. I don't mind that. I think a guy who's going to benefit this week from coverage is actually Eli Moore. Elijah Moore will probably avoid Joey Porter in favor of Jerry Jeudy, which puts Elijah Moore in that spot of, he could benefit from the situation. And they throw this guy the ball. 14 targets last week. Like, let's not sleep on Elijah. Is it Elijah? Yeah. I'm kind of thinking about swapping Myers down to Moore so that we can get a little bit more money in the flex here. Let's do that. Now we're up to 6,300. So we just added to our flex, but I want to keep going and see if we can find any other wide receivers of note or make notes about any wide receivers that deserve it. So one here, Westbrook-Akine. This guy, what does he go out and do? He scores a touchdown every week. It's been crazy. I don't think it can continue. Him and actually Valdez-Scantling is the other one. No volume. Doesn't matter. 1, 2 targets, big touchdown, showdown, super turd scorer. Can we play these guys? Can we chase what they've done? I don't know that I can. Ray will be interesting here this week. PJ Washington, this guy. P. Washington. 12 targets. Where did he come from? It's noteworthy. 12 targets. Let's keep him in mind. Wilson Tipton, no. Sterling Shepard was more involved than you would expect. Let me just take a look at what he did. 7 targets, 8 fantasy points. Nothing special, but I just remember seeing him during that game just running around like a crazy person. All right. Yeah, that's about it at the wide receiver group. So, if we scale down to Elijah Moore, we leave ourselves 6,300 in the flex. Let's see who we can flex into this last spot. Yeah, plenty of possibilities here. Could we get to Bowers? No. One possibility here is just to upgrade the defense to one of the other super elite defenses, but I really like the Saints. So I think here we could just go Jackson Smith and Jigba in the last spot, volume guy. If we didn't want JSN, the other option would be like swap up to Brock Bowers at tight end and then play one of the cheaper, 4K wide receivers. But let's see who else is here. Metcalf playable. JSN, I like JSN. I like London even more if we went down that way. Chubb, Samuel, no. Myers gets you an extra 700. So if we actually played Myers and Moore, then let's see. 5K tight end. There's nothing to improve upon. Nope, doesn't get better. Let's see, $3,600 defense. All it really does is shift you over here to the Steelers, who are definitely getting a pick 6 in this game. So you know what? Let's go with that. Pay up on defense, or just use the extra 700 where you want. A few different ways to build it. But final lineup, Caleb Williams stacked with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, double stack. Bring back of Isaac Guerrero from the 49ers. We were able to afford 9K Barkley in this lineup in a super matchup, the best matchup of the year against the Panthers. This guy can put up 500 yards in that matchup. Then we play Target Machine Elijah Moore and Target Machine Jacoby Myers, both of which are seeing tons and tons. They're like the only guys. Elijah Moore bonus that we expect Porter Jr. to be on Jerry Jeudy, which should elevate the target share for Moore. Jacoby Myers just gets a lot of targets in an elite matchup. He always gets plenty of targets. So this is a pretty solid lineup. I like it. DraftKings NFL Week 14 first look. Good luck this week. Helmets up, everyone.